Does anybody have any sort of questions that you would like to ask our two speakers or me about this afternoon's presentations? Or have we explained everything so well that you feel very comfortable?
Hi. I have a question for David, really, and I think it's more for clarification, really. You explained very eloquently about how to draw together complex data, statistics, statistical significance, but with patient stories and things that are more heartfelt. And you identified a process to go through. Have you tried that process in terms of coming out with impact results? And I wonder if you could give a bit of information of how you used it to pull together those different strands of data to make information rather than just bits of isolated data.
Yeah, as I say, you're talking about the 7 frames idea. I mean, it's really just like a way of thinking. I'm not suggesting you present, around each of those headings. It's a way of actually thinking. So yeah, I mean, we had a project for a big mobile phone manufacturer, and they were swamped with data on social networks. So you could fill this room with academic reports on what the introduction of Facebook means in terms of the psychology of people. Millions of reports on what's happening in China on people going onto the internet for the first time by mobile and bypassing a normal PC. So it's a whole array of different information, from academic treatises to market research reports, qualitative, quantitative. So that was a framework to try and bring that together to tell the story. So we turn up and present and say, this is the story of how people are responding to the social media and what it actually means for you as a mobile phone manufacturer. So we use that sort of way of telling that particular story. So that would be one example.
Just to check, so you use the framework as a way of pulling everything together, and the actual reporting mechanism is the story.
The end product is the story. The kind of the frames. I mean, there are different bits and pieces. I started off with this idea of fuzzy logic as a way of, you've got a lot of young people, and when I was running a bigger agency then, and you've got people who say, well, I'm just a qualitative researcher. As soon as I say a number, I run away. I can't cope with that. And then there's people that are hardened, cone-headed statos. But if you just say we did some focus groups, they say, what's the point of all of that? It's all made up. So you need a framework to bring to it. And so that idea of, well, let's just try and put the data on the table and look at this, the notion of weight, power, direction. That was quite an interesting way of a way of thinking to try and bring it together. And then, moving on, as I say, to the De Bono idea, where he was saying there isn't a silver bullet, like just apply that formula and that will integrate that. You've got to actually systematically work through those different ways of thinking. So they're all ways of thinking. But you're right, the delivery mechanism I'm working with more now is the idea of the story. I mean, and it's hard work. So we're doing something in a minute for one of the accountancy bodies, and they're interested in, they've just done a survey of their members about their views on what's going to happen, looking at the treasury revenue over here, what's going to happen after the budget. So in one way, it's quite hard work to got the data back, to tell a story. But the more you work at it, you can actually tell us, this is the way that small businesses and large businesses are thinking about the current environment, and this is the responses that they're actually making. So the story is the mechanism for delivering that information. But those little frameworks are just ways of liberating people from just being in the straitjacket of quant research or qual research.
Thank you.
I think one of the things that we haven't mentioned is David and I are trying to put a paper together, aren't we, David? But pressure of time and workload at the moment is having an impact on that. But the idea is that we're going to try and put a paper together which sort of encapsulates all of this, but in a health services context, which will sort of make this perhaps a little bit clearer. Elizabeth?
Elizabeth Bates from Social Action for Health. We generate tons of information every day. We work with store it, and then all we do is hold on to it because we simply haven't got the money to turn it into something that will have an impact. I mean, we're committed to influencing policy and practice, so we're always trying to find ways, but our money that we get is all about delivering on targets, and it's not about making change. So we need the concept of integrating data and interpreting it, which is missing from most research that we see, is never, the second level interpretation is never done. It's just presented as a sort of set of facts. We're very interested in, and we'd love to cooperate with, but we haven't got the dosh. So what do we do about that?